Hello, my name is Jonathan Livingstone. I'm a therapist and coach, and I've also written a book called The Therapist Within You, which was published in September 2009. And I would like to tell you, I'd like to teach you how to use a pendulum. It's a very simple thing to do, and it should only take you a few minutes to learn to do it. And this is what I'd recommend you do. I'd recommend, first of all, you draw a couple of lines on a sheet of paper, just like that. Don't have to, but it is helpful for some people. One of these axes is going to be a yes axis, and the other is going to be your no axis. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on the floor in front of me. And the next thing you need, obviously, is a pendulum. Now this is a pendulum crafted for the purpose, but it doesn't actually matter. You could have a chain with a weight on the end, a crystal or anything at all, actually. You don't want the chain to be too long or the weight to be too heavy, otherwise it takes too much energy to make it move. Equally, you don't want it to be too short or the weight to be too light, so you want to find a happy medium which is as economical as possible to help the pendulum to move. Okay, so the pendulum moves obviously by through the movement of the arm, the shoulder and the elbow there. So what I suggest is just deliberately you move it along one of the axes. So I'm moving it up and down, and I'm doing it deliberately and consciously. Okay, because you're teaching your body how to do this. So I'm teaching my body, my unconscious. It already knows, by the way, but this is what I'm recommending that you do for yourself. You're teaching your body to move the pendulum up and down. Okay. That's one axis. That's going to be your yes or no. Now, you want it to change axis. So just begin to move it into a circle. This is the transitional circular swing, that's what I call it. And move it consciously but gently into the other axis. Okay, so it's now on the other axis, which is moving from side to side. Okay, the first one was up and down, or forward and back rather, and this one's from side to side. So those are my two axes, and I'd suggest you do this a few times. Okay, so moving into the circular swing and then forwards and backwards, and then the circular swing and side to side. The reason I suggest having these two axes as your yes and no, rather than moving the circle for one, say clockwise for yes or anti-clockwise for no, is that the effort to change from moving in a circle to moving in the opposite direction is really quite considerable and takes a long time, and so I wouldn't recommend it. By moving in for one axis for no, up and down, forward and backwards, and side to side for the other, it's just very quick to do. Okay, so once your body's got the hang of doing that, you want to designate a yes and a no, and of course you want your unconscious to do that. So take a moment, and probably with the pendulum swinging in a circular motion, find your yes. So say yes to yourself as powerfully as you can. Yes. And then take that feeling, wherever you feel it in your body, take that feeling up into your shoulder, into your arm, elbow, to your hand, and down into the pendulum. Now for me, the yes is moving from side to side. Okay, that's my yes, moving from side to side. It might take you a bit longer, and for you the pendulum may not be swinging so exuberantly. That's fine. Allow it to take longer if it needs to, and a subtle movement is fine. You can always give it a little bit of gentle encouragement consciously. Okay. So now let's find the no. So I'm going to move it back into a circular, transitional swing, and now I'm going to say no. Find that no in my body. Feel it. Move it up to my shoulder, down my arm, my elbow, my hand, and into the pendulum. Saying no to myself. And now my no is up and down. See, my no is the up and down, or the forward and backwards swing, I should say, ready? So now I've got a yes and a no. At the moment it's on no, and I'm going to say yes. And if you want to, you can gently encourage it with conscious movement into the circular swing, and then keep saying yes, and then it'll settle down into your yes swing, and then you can say no and let it move into the other. And do this a few times again until it's comfortable, and then you've got your yes and no. And it can be as simple as that to do. So, once you've got your yes and no, you can use the pendulum. By the way, another reason I like to have the axis like forward and backwards, and the from side to side, is that I can have an indeterminate swing, which is at an angle, and that can mean like I'm almost there but not quite there. So it gives another possibility. Okay, so once you've got your yes and no, you can start to use it. But I'd just like to give you a couple of cautions. The first is to always ask permission before you use the pendulum. I think that's really important. Always ask permission. That way you can be more confident that the answers you're getting are accurate ones. The pendulum will give you an answer to any question that you give it. It'll come up with the lottery numbers. It'll come up with how big the universe is and whether God exists, but that doesn't mean that the pendulum knows. Okay? So first of all, ask permission before you ask the question, and if it says no, don't do it. The second is, believe the answer that it gives you. So if it tells you no and the answer you wanted is yes, don't ask it another 5 times in order to get the answer that you want. Just trust the answer that it gives you. Okay, so that's really important. It's still possible to get disillusioned with using the pendulum because of the questions that you ask and the answers that it gives. And so in the Therapist Within You, what I've done is combine using the pendulum with kinesiology. And that means that I show you how to use the pendulum according to kinesiology principles. Now the great thing about doing that is that you get accurate results for the pendulum. That's one great reason. And the other great thing about it is you can do kinesiology on yourself instead of with a kinesiologist. So you can do self-therapy with kinesiology. So in fact the book is called The Therapist Within You, with a foreword by Matthew Thie, and the subtitle is A Handbook of Kinesiology Self-Therapy with a Pendulum. And if you're interested in the book, you can order it from Amazon or any bookshop. And if you'd like to find out more about it, there's a website called therapistwithin.com. So www.therapistwithin.com, and that gives you selections from various chapters. If you're interested in therapy and coaching with me, please give me a call. My number is 07862 226 143, 07862 226 143. And my website is www.therapycoaching.co.uk. Therapycoaching, or one word, .co.uk.